Alrighty, it's Sunday, August 3rd, and time for a quick garden update. So right now, Zora's kind of wandering through the garden, just being like, what you got going on here, Dad? There's a bunch of plants missing. So this is where I had potatoes, this row. There's a couple more probably buried in the ground. I pulled out most of what I could. I probably still need to dig it out like here in the next week or so and double check and see if there's anything else. Zora, hunt for potatoes if you can. Well, anyways, so I need to plant some more stuff in here, and I'm ripping out a lot of plants. Over here is still basically a jungle of like my tomato plants. So this is the best section of my tomato plants, but it's really hard to navigate and access right now because I need to, it's grown in every direction, grown tall. There's tall sunflowers and stuff, and I'm ripping out stuff out of the garden. That section is a complete and total jungle right now. Over here I ripped out most of the weeds, but there's a bunch of little weeds I'm still ripping out because these guys are just hitting sprouting, and they're prolific everywhere throughout the garden, and they're so annoying because once they seed, it doesn't take long and they drop seeds everywhere, and they showed up in like massive numbers. Over here I got a whole bunch of holy basil. It's growing crazy. I've been picking out weeds. A lot of this is like grass that's trying to infiltrate. I just ripped out this little section of yard right here. Did a whole bunch of the weeding on this section. And I've been cutting out sunflowers just because they eat up so much space and they're blocking my sprinkler. This sprinkler does water basically the whole garden, so this is my setup for this year. Does a pretty good job. For a while it was kind of missing a few spots, but I had to fix it so it was getting the back corners of the garden. So walking around, I have my asparagus and catnip section. Sam is chilling right here. Hey Sam. Meow. Hey big boy. Meow 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 meow. Alrighty, and so I have asparagus seeds. These red berries are my asparagus seeds. They're not producing much of anything right now other than seeding. Strawberries are hanging on. They've been looking kind of parched lately, so they're not producing anything. They're just trying to survive. But I ripped out a lot of the weeds here, and I've been resetting my garden so I can have my sprinkler watering everything. I'm about to turn on automated sprinkling for the next week or so I don't have to worry about it too much. Over here, not too much going on, just that section. Rosemary looks pretty good. It's a couple years, I think second year going now. There's some time. My artichokes are just trying to hang on. There's a couple okra plants. I have some marigolds right here. There's going to be some melons growing in here. There's a lot of marigolds and tomatillos. So a whole bunch of tomatillos. There's some lime basil, another okra. This section, I had a bunch of, originally was squash and cucumbers and melons and stuff, and then squash bugs destroyed everything. And then everything else just kind of became the jungle. So whatever else is growing here was mostly just kind of growing from seeds in the garden. So tons and tons of basil and some okra and tomatillos and other stuff. So I'm going to try to plant some more stuff in here soon. I need to finish ripping this out. Like this section just needs me to clean it out and tear out all the weeds. You can see this is a variety of tomatillos down here, but it's like ground cherries. So this thing is going to be prolific. All those spots where those tomatillos hit the ground, they'll be back next year most likely. So yeah, I have a lot to do. My shade structure is installed. I'm going to try to double it in size next year. I don't have enough of these canopy fittings, and I have a whole bunch of extra shade cloths over there underneath the tree, but I just need to buy more fittings and stuff. I have all the poles for it. I really need to realign it next year too, because it's kind of crooked, like this one's leaning to the side, so I need to do a better job of alignment. I have, it looks like, some cucumbers, so those likely sprouted from cucumber seeds earlier this year that after the plants died, they're kicking into second gear. Some tomatoes are over here. This is the main pepper section. So this was getting kind of parched. Over here it looks like a giant depression in here. So like I can step my foot down into here, because when you rip out giant sunflower seeds, it rips out giant root systems. So they have giant root systems, suck up a lot of water. So I've left some over here in the corner, but I'm ripping out most of the other ones because they just eat up tons of water and other stuff. So over here you can see it's just like a freaking jungle. I'll find random stuff growing in here, but one of the things I'm really trying to get out of here as quickly as I can are these weeds. They have these little tiny balls. I don't know what weed it is, but once these balls, like or their seeds, get a little bit bigger, because they're just like little round objects, then they drop seeds everywhere. And they're so prolific and they're so annoying because they just show up in like hundreds. And so I have to rip out tons upon tons of these, and I definitely won't get them all, and then they'll be back next year just in equal numbers. So the goal next year is, like, I'm hoping I don't have to re-till the garden. I just need to start adding more and more mulch on top of this section, and maybe I should just start doing mulch in the back section too, because I was using leaf mulch, but wood mulch is ideal. Does a better job of blocking a lot of weeds and other stuff, but it just takes some time to break down. So this section didn't get too much water when I watered it, but I'm not too worried about the sunflowers. These guys dig deep and pull out all the water they can. Over here I have all my peppers. There are some Carolina Reapers here, which I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. There's some habaneros right over here. So habanero and then some Reapers, and I'm like, I don't think I even want to mess with the Reapers. I just grabbed one because it was like $1, and I was like, I'll throw it in the garden. We'll see what happens. Yeah, over here I got a bunch more tomatillos I can pick. That one just dropped as I touched it, but I think it was probably past picking time. There's some bell peppers in here, so peppers will hang on throughout the season, and it'll keep growing until the end of the year. I need to just straighten up a bunch of stuff. This thing's falling over. And let's see, over here, tomatoes are not looking so good. Some of them I lost a lot of them. Like, there's a bunch of empty tomato cages over here because the plants died, or I've removed the cage already. And so it has a lot of leaves that have been getting attacked by spider mites. So I'm trying to cut out these branches and keep the tops of them going, but they're like drooping and hanging on by a thread. It's sometimes better to plant new plants, but we'll see how many replacement plants I have in the first place. So over here I have my compost. I think these are my sweet potatoes. I threw some sweet potatoes in here, so I believe these are growing. I hadn't really grown them much before. Over here I definitely have a papaya plant and another papaya plant over here growing by the fence line, so those are random. There was an avocado plant, and it looks like it either died or all the leaves, yeah, the leaves are brown, so I don't know if it's going to survive, but that was an avocado plant. This was mustard greens, I think, right here. It looks tore up, but it's about to seed and drop seeds everywhere, and that one's very prolific too. Once mustard greens seeds hit the ground, they'll grow everywhere. I think that's another sweet potato plant right there. I believe I did throw some in the ground here just to see how they grow this year, so that'll be new to me. I hadn't really grown them much. Lots more weeds to rip out. There's a bunch of these stupid vines that grow up on the top of everything. Like, some people will grow these. I forgot it was like what variety they are, but I absolutely hate them in the garden because they just take over the canopy and strangle basically your plants and suck up the light that they should be getting. So there's a whole bunch of them, and you have to dig deep to find the root system where they're coming from. Compost, I have a lot of stuff over here. There's a bunch of stuff I had to throw out recently, and so this is going pretty crazy right now, so I need to throw something on top to kind of prevent like too many bugs. That black fly is soldier fly, so like there's a couple of them in here, like on this cantaloupe right here, and their larvae is definitely going to be deep in here. Like, it doesn't take long to find who's got this stuff in here, but I need to just cover this up with some more yard trimmings and shredded leaves and stuff. But this part is just kind of my staging compost, so once I move it down the line, then it goes into here and then into here, and usually I'm rotating it. I might just dump more of that on top of these sections. I did throw in some sweet potatoes, I think, in these ones, but I'm not seeing anything other than those two over there, which is not a big deal. But yeah, and then I have my mushroom compost blocks, which I use for the garden, but these guys are basically toast, so I just need to shred them. Here's a bunch of weeds I have that I've already picked out today, just a big pile of them. I've been adding them to this thing so they can bake in the sun, and the issue I have with weeds and stuff is, like, should I be throwing these out in the trash or just like put them to the curb so I don't have their seeds in my garden anymore? I'll see next year if I can eradicate them with my hot composting. If they come back in equal numbers again, then I might have to try something different. But if I can just go through a whole full compost cycle from like that metal barrel to that piece through all those, usually it takes care of most of the weed seeds. So we'll see what we can do here. Over here, still some more weeds. This guy has been an annoying weed before, not too bad this year, but it was very prolific the other year. Lots and lots of basil in every direction over here. So, and then some ginger, more tomatillos, I need to throw some more plants in here. I can rip out weeds and replace them with actual plants I want growing, so I should probably start doing that, because it's actually not a bad year for Texas on the garden. We got a lot of rain in July. Last week we got 105 degrees on Wednesday, but that was like the hottest day of the year, and we can have multiple ones of those on the hot summer. So this year is definitely not our hottest summer by any stretch. So we had lots of water, but one thing I really didn't do a good job on, like over here you can see there's mulch all over the place down here, like my shredded leaf mulch. But this place and like this section, I barely got enough time to add any mulch. So mulch is one of the things I probably need to invest in more next year. Maybe even do like entirely wood mulch. So my friend got a chip drop recently, and that's a huge amount of mulch that you can add to the garden. But I also know where I can get mulch for free and get exactly how much I need or can carry, because sometimes it's a pain in the butt to deal with a truckload of mulch during the summer in Texas. There's Sam being happy boy, walking up to me, be like, give me some lovin', because he's a lover and a fighter, but he's my guardian cat. So he's hanging out in the catnip over here, but he's also guarding it from other neighborhood cats getting to the catnip. He's hoarding it. So, but he's my outside kitty, and he's a good boy. He can be aggressive compared to all my other cats, but I love my boys. But anyways, so that's a kind of quick garden update. A lot of stuff going on. I'm just trying to get a few things done today, and it is a nice day for it. So trying to get to the end of season reset for the garden. So plant a few more things, make sure everything's watered and fertilized. I guess I'll do here in a minute, and then see if I can tackle my spider mites before they get out of control, and pet Sam, because Sam's needing love and he's sitting in my lap.